Hey there, this is the Grumpy Stew podcast, the comedy podcast for flight attendants. I am the Grumpy Stew, the one and only. Except no imitation, I am the one and only Grumpy Stew. And this is just for you. Hey, that kind of rhymes. You know, something interesting happened the other day. Not just someone, 3 people in one day actually asked me about the podcast. Hey, are you doing any more podcasts? When was the last time you did a podcast? You're going to do any more podcasts? I wasn't planning on it, but, because I have like all of 5 listeners, but 3 out of 5 said something in one day. That can't be a coincidence. That's like 60%. And so I thought, okay, I'll do another one. This could be the last one because, nobody listens to these things. In fact, the last podcast, this is episode 56. So 55 being before 56. 55 was all music. It just fake little songs I wrote, and then I put the lyrics into an AI music generator and made goofy little songs about, flight attendant life and stuff. And it's like a little fake radio show. I thought I'd try something different, but no listeners. You guys hated that one, so I won't do that again. So, if you want, you can go back and listen to it because it's just all silly stuff. But I did write a few serious songs and then put them on Spotify. Just search for Grumpy Stew. And they're about our daily life and frustrations and things that we deal with as flight attendants. But they're real songs. And they're not the silly, shticky ones that I put on the podcast last time. One song is about Angela Peary. That's a silly song, but it was too good not to share, so I put it on there anyway. But the other 3 are pretty serious. I hope you enjoy that. Go to the Spotify, Grumpy Stew. I think I just put Grumpy Stew, actually. Grumpy Stew on the Spotify. And you'll find the 4 songs. Have a listen. Feel free to share them. And speaking of stuff I've done, see this? My customer service face shirt. $20. thegrumpystew.com. Tap the little button that says merch store, grumpystew.com. Free shipping, $20. And its size is small through extra large. Extra large is 22. But everything else is $20. Free shipping in the United States. If you're not in the United States, you can buy the shirt, but the shipping cost is going to be not worth it. It's going to be more than the shirt. Just, I appreciate the support, but don't buy my stuff if you're not in the United States because it's just going to cost you so much more money just to have it shipped to you wherever you are. And plus, the fucking tariff situation, thanks, but save your money. But if you're in the United States, cough it up. It's $20. $20, come on. Unfortunately, these days, $20 is kind of a lot of money. Considering you can't even can't even get a half tank of gas for $20 anymore. So, thanks Donald. But, crazy times we live in. Part of my duties as Grumpy Stew is I spend a lot of time on social media, scrolling through a lot of stuff, and I cannot help but come across all these stupid reels on like the Instagram and Facebook. These stupid, they're not children. I call them kids, but they're probably 18 and up. Okay, they're young adults. I call them kids because I'm 45. But they're these fucking kids, and they're dancing. I'm using air quotes if you're listening and not watching on YouTube. I'm using air quotes, a lot of them, because I'm being emphatic here. They are dancing, and what they're doing is standing in front of a camera and just kind of vaguely shaking their hands and moving their arms, somewhat set to music, and making these stupid faces because they think they're cute. You ain't cute. And you're not dancing. I can't dance for shit. Look at my skin tone. I can't dance for shit. Okay? I cannot dance. But I know what dancing is when I see it. And, shaking your hands and your fingers and moving your arms around ain't dancing. Hate to break it to you. You look fucking stupid. Can't use the R word, which is what I prefer to use here because that's probably the best analogy. But you look fucking stupid. You look stupid. I recommend not doing that. If you're going to dance, do a proper dance. I'm not going to watch it anyway because It's boring. But, yeah, you look kind of foolish. It's being polite. Being polite, you just... It's just so silly. They make these stupid faces because they think they're hot. So, okay, so I used ChatGPT to like kind of outline things I wanted to talk about and generate ideas and brainstorm a little bit. And I'm gonna rant about non-revving here in a minute. But I was kind of okay. So ChatGPT was giving me all these little bullet points and these silly, like what it considered jokes. I'm like, oh, that ain't funny. So I like punch up time, and improve ChatGPT's humor. And it'd be like, no. And it chastised me because my humor is, quote, too broad and not accurate. It said my hate is inaccurate. Fuck you, ChatGPT. I pay for you. Being the human, I think I'm the expert in what is funny, as opposed to, a pile of circuitry somewhere. My hate is inaccurate. But it's funny that it put all my like bullshit and bullet points for me and formatted it. It's kind of nice. So some of you, not me because, I'm senior, some of you junior kids, because I'm a dick, you guys fly a lot of domestic. And I'm sure by now, even after a couple of years flying, maybe even sooner than that, you kind of get a feel of where people are from. Based on their accent, how they talk, even like the drinks they order. If you're going somewhere and it's a bunch of, being polite here, it's a bunch of bigger people and they all want Diet Coke. You're going to Minnesota, right? Where are you going? Minnesota. Say you're flying west and suddenly everybody's got a craving for ginger ale and Sprite. Where are you going? Utah. You got a bunch of momos on your plane. And they can't have caffeine, but they want to be like everybody else and drink soda, so they compromise and drink ginger ale and Sprite because they think it's caffeine-free, and it ain't. Joke's on them. Another thing you can... So, I'm from Oklahoma, and you know how you could tell you're talking to someone from Oklahoma? If they don't hear you correctly, and they need you to repeat something, they don't say, what was that? Say again, pardon, one more time. Huh? What? They say, do what? Not the other stuff. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. Can you, I popped the mic. Sorry, I didn't quite get that. Can you do that again? Do what? Do what? I don't know what do what is. I mean, what am I doing? Is the doing speaking again? Do what? That's how you can tell you're talking to an Okie. Do what? What? Do what? So... I've got some bad news, but I'll preface it with a little bit of good news. The good news is spring break is over. It's been over for about 2 weeks, maybe. Like the heavy part of spring break has been over for probably since the beginning of this month. So about 2.5 weeks. But probably starting in about 2 weeks is summer. Summer flying starts in a couple weeks. In fact, get this. Kids are already going on another break before summer break next week. This is April 24th. It's a Friday. That means coming up, like on Monday, they don't have school. Not because school's out for the summer, because they have another break. They get the entire summer off. They get a fall break. They get all the holidays off. They get a winter break. Then they get a pre-spring break. Then they get spring break. They go to school for another 20 minutes just to make sure they know where the school is. And they go on fucking break again. Are these kids ever in school? I want to know. This is why they're so fucking stupid. They're never in school. And their parents don't teach them shit because they're too lazy. These kids, we didn't get all these breaks when I was a kid. We got the summer, we got the holidays, we got spring break, and that was it. And frankly, I'm a homeowner. I pay property taxes. Part of my property taxes is the school tax. I pay school taxes. What am I paying these school taxes for? I mean, I don't have kids. I'm never going to have kids. I don't mind paying school taxes, but I kind of mind that these kids are never in school. So what the fuck am I paying for? Bad enough they can't spell or read or communicate properly. How old are you? Okay, can you slow down? Because, I have to do long division now. That is, what are we doing here? I fear for our future. They're a bunch of fucking imbeciles. And then they're on fucking, Instagram and Facebook, shaking their fingers and making these stupid faces and they're dancing and saying random shit like bet and just out of nowhere. I don't get it. I don't know what I'm paying all these these kids are never in school. And they're about to go on another break. First of all, why are schools still following the agricultural calendar? The family farm is but a memory, okay? We have not been an agricultural economy for over 100 fucking years, yet we still follow. Kids don't need to be home for harvest or for planting. In this day and age, you kidding me? Why are we following this? It makes no sense. Zero sense. I'm maybe slightly jealous I didn't get all those breaks, but hey, you know what? You know what's around the corner? Summer flying. And it's all these people that haven't flown since 1997, and they don't know their ABCs. They don't understand that A is the window seat. A is always the window seat. It is never not the window seat. Ever. The seats are in alphabetical order from window to window. Just in case you don't know that, I'll say it again. The seats are in alphabetical order from window to window. The rows, get this, are in chronological order. Shocking, I know. Where's row 15? It's right after 14, probably. That's my guess. Probably right before 16. If you see 17, you went way too far. You got to turn around and go back. It's, it gives me an opportunity to fuck with people, but it's still kind of sad and kind of scary at the same time. It's insane. Of course, you get these little experts that say, if airlines boarded back to front window to aisle, it'd be a lot more efficient. You can get this done a lot faster if you'd board from back to front window to aisle. Okay, that works in a computer model, okay? But you know what? The computer made a mistake. The computer did not take in account for the fact that you can't read or follow instructions. Period. Back to front, window to aisle? Great. But that relies on two important key bits of information. People to read and follow instructions, and they can't do it. And that's a fact. Plus, you got all the frequent flyer programs that are decades old. You're going to tell someone who spent $1 million+ on the airline over the last 5 years that he's going to board last because he's sitting in row 2? He ain't going to do that. That's not, that's going to go over like a fart in church. You know what I mean? That's not going to work. So, flight benefits. Flight benefits are a big part of why, because we're not doing it for the money. Let's face it. Flight benefits are pretty much why we do this goofy-ass job that we have and live the lifestyle that we do, is for the flight benefits. Listen, I've been flying for a long time. I've been flying for like 15 years. Sorry, headphones got stuck. I've been flying for like 15 years. When I first started flying, I worked for a regional airline. I'll just say it was SkyWest. They were okay at the time. I understand they're not as okay today, unfortunately. But, I made no money. I had nothing. I barely had a pot to piss in. I had a mattress in a shitty apartment in Chicago in Wicker Park that I shared with a pilot, a junior pilot. I didn't share the mattress with the pilot. She had her own room. But, that's what I had. That is everything I had to my name, was a shitty mattress, barely any clothes. I was hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. I had nothing. But I could still non-rev. I could go places and do interesting things. And I almost always got first class round trip. Almost always. Today, you're lucky to get a seat. Now, I commute. So I non-rev a lot. Unfortunately, I work 1, maybe 2 trips a month, a week. And if I'm flying more than 1 trip in a week, I back them up. So that way I'm only doing 1 commute. Anyway, so that's 2 flights a week, round trip. And, the only thing saving me at the moment is the fact that tourism is in the toilet. That's kind of helping me out at the moment. But what's killing me is the oversell. And it's killing you too because you can't use your benefits for its intended purpose. Forget commuting. Forget that. Just going somewhere and doing something. That's why we do this job, is so we can extend benefits to ourselves and to our parents, maybe to a friend or a spouse, a boyfriend, whatever. And yeah, you can extend the benefits to all these people now, but you can't fucking get on a plane. Because why? They got to oversell everything. They oversell everything. First of all, I think it should be illegal to sell more of something than you have. You have 100 seats and you sell 115, that's fucking bullshit. It's perfectly legal. The DOT allows it, but come on, it's unethical. And the airline, historically, we know that per the data that we have recorded, that we know that 5.7 people will no show on every single, that raise ticket prices. You want to generate more revenue, raise ticket prices, and then you don't have to oversell. Raise ticket prices. I'm no expert. I'm just a flight attendant, but it seems to me if you got to oversell, you're doing something wrong. And it's just trashy. It's unethical. My airline increased the oversell percentage. I want to say it was 102 or 103%. They increased it to 105%. Maybe 3 years ago. I've never had a problem commuting, or at least, there have been times I couldn't get home, but I've never missed work because of the commute until they increased the oversell to 105%. From that point on, I could not get on a plane. I was living on a fucking jump seat, round trip, sometimes a double commute instead of a direct flight because they oversold. And the other part of this overselling thing that I just don't understand is, they're hoping that some people don't show up, but more often than not, everybody shows up. Everybody shows up, and now they're spending thousands of dollars to buy people off. And it's not just one flight they're doing this on. How many flights in a year would you say that they're having to buy people off to the tune of 4 figures, maybe 5 figures when it's a lot of people? I remember a couple of years ago, it was a particularly hot summer in Vegas. The flight was already oversold, but it was too hot for the plane to take off with a full passenger load and the fuel requirement that it had. It was too hot. And they had to offload a bunch of passengers. They spent $60,000 buying people off. I imagine their margin on that flight wasn't 60 grand. Probably wasn't 40 grand. Probably wasn't even 10 grand. And they spent $60,000 buying people off because no one's going to volunteer to not go home. They got to go to work tomorrow. So they blow their entire margin. I'm paid on profit. That's my money you're giving away. As far as I'm concerned, that's my fucking money. That's my fucking money. These passengers already think they pay our salary, and you're giving my money away? So now it's getting to the point to get on a plane, I got to think about, okay, let's see. All right. There's 3 seats. I'm number 7. So, okay, I need 4 people to not show up. Okay, maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe there'll be a horrific car accident on the way to the airport and 4 people will die and magically they'll be on this flight. Or I can go in the men's room and club somebody and just go Tanya Harding on somebody. I don't want to think about that kind of stuff, but that's kind of the things that go through my mind. Well, maybe someone will drop dead in the airport and maybe they'll be on my flight and I'll get their seat. You can hope. Where there's will, there's a way. All things are possible through Jetway Jesus. Amen. Overselling is complete bullshit. Complete fucking bullshit. I remember, this is more than 10 years ago, back at my regional airline, I was working a United flight, United Express to be specific, and several employees in uniform commuting to Houston, and they had to use, I don't know if they're still called this, but at the time they were called vacation passes. They were using vacation passes to get to work. Now, I don't know much about United, but I imagine that the whole purpose of a vacation pass, per the name of the pass, The whole idea is to use it to treat yourself, to do something fun, to go on vacation, not to get to work. Are you kidding me? Using a vacation pass to get to work? Because at that time, their overselling was so egregious, the government had to step in and slap them down. That's how bad it was back then. People were using vacation passes to get to work. You know what would be cool? If you are actually listening to this, even if you don't like the episode, if you leave a comment and tell me what you think about overselling and non-revving, how non-revving used to be, what it's like now. What's your experience now? Now you see your colleagues on a flight that you're working, you see colleagues on the plane and they look happy because they can't believe they got a seat. They feel like they just won the goddamn lottery. And now and the upgrades. They give these upgrades away like goddamn candy. And so just like getting a nice seat these days is, you feel like you died and went to heaven. Wow, I get to sit in a real seat and eat semi-real food and, not have a savage immediately next to me. It's, the niceties of our flight benefits are just gone. They're gone. The nice days are over. It's over. Our flight benefits have been so eroded, and they're always trying to find ways to tweak them and stuff so that way we can't use them. It's crazy. Anyway, this is the episode. I think I've rambled enough. This is the Grumpy Stew Podcast. If you liked it, even if you don't like it, hit the thumbs up button. Hit that little heart button. Hit the subscribe button. Whatever the fuck you're listening on, whatever the thing is, press it. Just blind faith. Just push it. You can do it. Anyway, I may or may not produce another one, but until then, maybe. I'll talk to you later.